Father, I hope that answered your question, Shamari. Oh, Shamari Kai, the questionnaire. Shouts out to Shamari. Yeah, come join us in Atlanta, y'all. March the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. So we're gonna all go to Jeju as a group. After we do the workshop in the park, we'll end up at Jeju. Our afterlife separate from one another. You're gonna have to ask that a lot clearer. What do you mean, are they separate from one another? See, you attempted to make spiritual sense of your physical concept. You follow? Again, you gotta listen. You can't listen to respond. You gotta listen to learn. The spiritual dimension predates the physical dimension. So anything that happens here is only happening here because it can't be felt. It can't be felt in the dimension that predates it. So you in the physical universe, everything on every planet it has to adhere to the same laws. That's why they call it universal laws. Shouts out to 210. He said, hey, what are universal laws? These are absolutes, and it's not exclusive to one particular planet or no one particular space. It's all inclusive, whether you believe in them or not. There's no way around it, right? So you got a physical universe, and then you have a spiritual universe, listen, that doesn't come after it. It comes before it. So I use that term afterlife because that's what they understand, right? I had to compensate for the layman and the commoner and what they're capable of understanding. But the spiritual universe where you return to, because this is really the afterlife. You follow? This is the afterlife. You are an eternal being. Or to put it in a more simpler term, you are a boundless being. And you're attempting to exist in a temporary landscape. And it's not you that actually die. It's your body that dies. And you should know, because I done said this 1,000 times, Shamari. You need to put the weed down, brother. Right? You are not your body and you are not your mind. These are utilities that you utilize in order to interface in this reality. You're peering through the focal points called your peripheral vision. Externally peering through the senses. Externally peering through the senses. You're externally peering through the senses so that you can experience what it's like on the other side of these senses. And you're doing that from a station, listen, that predates this universe. It's on the other side of H1. The bridge or the bypass to that dimension is plasma, right? And you got 3 degrees of plasma. You need to watch. I just uploaded it into school. Go check it out. I just uploaded a new Geb, the raynology of Geb. That's part 2. Got to study. That's why we setting up these curriculums for you guys, right? And so you can have some understanding. But you got cosmic rays, right? That emit plasma. And they connect to these suns or these stars that you call stars or suns that's making them give off solar mass ejections, which is pretty much solar wind, right? Which also produces solar plasma. That solar plasma gets filtered through your electromagnetic spectrum and appears as plasma through the water, the nutrients, and the minerals that are coursing through your veins. So it's 3 degrees, and all of that is used as a bridge to take you back into the spiritual universe. How you get to the spiritual universe, Doc? It's in the center, it's in the nucleus of suns and at the nucleus of your galaxy. You follow? I hope that makes sense to you, Shamari. You got another one? You said not. Again, remember, and this is not just for Shamari. In order for you to get a full grasp of the spiritual concepts, you first have to learn how to master the physical dimension. You hear people use the terminology overstand, overstand, overstand this, overstand that. Not really overstanding what overstanding requires. And you need to have 360 degrees of physical knowledge and 360 degrees of spiritual knowledge in order to have 720 degrees of overstanding. So people will use the terminology of overstanding and use anthropomorphism and colloquialism to validate their own awareness. And it's like, oh man, you can't do that. But if you don't have a teacher or a guy, you wouldn't know that. So it'd be a lot of stuff that people just don't understand. They're not even aware that they don't know. And I could say it with my chest because I function on an unconscious incompetence. I'm on unconscious incompetence. When I posted that in the group in the school, and I asked you guys what degree do you think that you're operating from? A lot of people say, oh man, I'm consciously competent. And it's like, man, you wouldn't even know 90% of the shit that I disseminated to you if I never said it to you. So you can't be consciously competent. Not if I think that the person that you're getting the information from thinks or knows that he's unconsciously incompetent. That's how I'm able to access the information that I do. Because I know I don't know it all. And I know that I'm consciously incompetent. You got an unconscious incompetence, and then you got a conscious incompetence. Then you got a conscious competence, right? You don't become fully consciously competent until you leave your body permanently. Then you get a conscious competence, right? You ain't got no choice then, right? That's why I say it tells you in the Papyrus of Ani, spend every day of your life preparing for the afterlife. For then you'll gain the keys to eternal life. But your heart has to be light as a feather. And a lot of people want to sound deep and heavy, right? They want to come off all smooth and like sound all heavy and deep. But when they weigh your heart on a scale, if that heart isn't light as a feather, you got to return through the halls of Amenti and come back to earth. Because your heart is too heavy, right? And the heart is where the mind seats itself. But what aspect of the mind is taking a seat in your heart? Is it the physical mind, which is more denser than the spiritual mind, which is your real actual mind? Your physical mind is the residue of the spiritual mind. And what it is here to do is to facilitate your central nervous system so that you can operate with your senses without having to think about it. You don't think about hearing. You don't think about seeing. You don't think about smelling. And you don't think about tasting. And you don't really think too much about the things that you touch either. right? That doesn't require a lot of mental activity to take place because your physical mind got it covered. Now, when you start attempting to use the physical mind, right, to go beyond the thresholds of thinking, the physical mind don't like that because it can't utilize your physical senses in order to process, listen, what you are encountering, what you are experiencing. And if it can't filter it through your senses, it attempts to get you to second guess itself, third guess yourself, what makes you uncertain, fourth guess yourself, what leaves you in a state of doubt. You start doubting. You follow? And your ego be like, which is your physical mind, be like, good, I got this motherfucker to doubt. He coming back into his body now. And like we talked about on the last live, when your body lays down to rest, you return to the spiritual universe. But your physical mind can't go there with you. So you know what it say? Oh, that ain't really happening. That's a dream. It calls it a dream and it says that it's not real because, listen, it can't function there. You do. And that's why I'm going to keep telling y'all again and again and again and again and again and again and again. You are not your body and you are not your mind. You are not your body and you are not your mind. These are utilities that you utilize to interface into this reality. I had to always say that, and it's okay that I have to, right? Because the Enoshats, which means forgetful mortals, are highly forgetful. And I am a reminder. You follow? On the Council of Ré, I stand as a reminder for you to remember that you're a member of Ré, which is the sun. In Latin, they say the word soul. You follow? And all of your soul could not incarnate here. You're an eternal being. You boundless. That's like you trying to sit in, again, it's like you trying to fixate yourself into the Lego land that they got constructed at the mall. You would crush the whole Lego land. You would destroy the whole concept of why it was built in the first place. Because you say, man, I really want to engage Legoland. So you would have to go to the Lego manufacturer and go to their design team and have them build a little tiny Lego version of you. And then they'll take that little Lego version of you and that can thrive in Legoland. But you can't. You way too big. You too expensive. You'll crush that shit. You follow what I'm saying? It's the same concept applies when it comes to the soul incarnating into the physical landscape within the physical universe. Because whether you can grasp this concept or not, your whole universe, which is composed of over 52 sextillion galaxies, it's that many galaxies in your universe. And the physical universe is about the size of a germ. Have you ever seen a germ? You would have to put it on a glass slide and put it under a electron microscope in order to see it. That's how large your universe is in the spiritual universe. To give you guys a concept of how expanded, listen, the omniverse is. Now people are going to start talking about the omniverse. Oh, man, I prayed to the omniverse. The omniverse gave me a message. No, your oversoul is where you're receiving a lot of your messages from. It's you. But you're not in alignment with that aspect of yourself because your physical mind doesn't have the autonomy to interface with it. That's not its job. That's your job. So it attempts to facilitate for your ignorance. And it tells you like, yeah, that was God. That's the universe. Or you heard somebody else say that, right? And that being know that they don't know what the hell they talking about. Shouts out to cosmic intelligence. But they'll tell you that shit anyway. Like, fuck it, they gonna listen. I'm just gonna tell them. Let's see how far I can go with this shit. Just like Pastor Porkchop. Pastor Porkchop know that he telling y'all some bullshit. I'm telling you. Deacon Dementia, you know, and Reverend Hot Sauce. They all know they full of shit. They Masons. Shouts out to the Masonic Lodge. I'm not a Mason or a Shriner. But if you want to be a reverend, if you want to be a pastor, you got to be a Mason first. And when you go into the lodge, it ain't nothing but Egyptian artifacts. They got lips like mine. They got a nose like mine. And skin darker than mine. You hear me? But he'll go to church on Sunday and tell you to praise Jesus. Some white dude with a rose bush around his head and a dirty ass depend on his ass. Who they cannot, listen, they cannot prove actually existed. All I be asking for is some empirical data. They say, oh, he ascended to heaven. Then where's the cross that he was nailed on? You said he died on the cross. Do you know if they had that cross that Jesus died on, they would have that shit encased in glass? They'd be charging people $1,000 a head to touch the glass. Not even the cross. They would have took the blood off the stakes that had him hammered and tried to clone that nigga by now. If that shit was for real. I'm just keeping it 10K with y'all, man. I'm not going to let nobody play with my overstanding. Because I earned my overstanding. All right? It just didn't come out of osmosis. It didn't. And I'm going to keep it 10K with you. Because ain't nobody else attempted to do that. And that goes for any other figures in the Bible. Show me their gravesite. Show me their bones. Show me their tombstone. Show me some paper or some records that's as old as you say that story is. And until you can do that, get that shit out of my face. Because you playing with my time, you playing with my mind, you playing with my intelligence, you playing with my soul, you playing with my spirit, and you playing with my potential to get the real answer. Why would you want to do that? And then they'll turn around and make up another excuse. They try to spin it again. And say, well, shit, it's been so long ago, all that stuff is gone. Bullshit. Because Ramesses, who was the only being that's in the Bible, who they could actually prove actually existed, who they tethered all of their fabled plagiarized stories to give themselves some type of validation. Ramesses the first, the second, and the third. Take them niggas on more tours than James Brown funeral. You know, James Brown went on 3 tours. Right? He had 3 funerals after he died. They put that nigga on 3 private jets so that he could have a funeral. But Ramesses the first, the second, and the third, they already had their funeral. They dug these niggas up out the ground. And they tote them up in the museums. You hear me? And all of them are older than the damn Bible itself. Even that Ethiopian shit that y'all niggas be talking. Oh, the Ethiopian Bible. Y'all just want to be spelled by. Y'all just want to have faith and belief so bad. Right? We're spiritual people. The non-ether being is, you're spiritual. Ether is a gas. Gas is a spirit. It's connected to plasma. Plasma is a gas. It's a byproduct. Listen, right? It's a byproduct of the etheric realm. It won't even fully matriculate into the physical dimension. The best that it can do is show up as plasma. And plasma, not even, you can't even equate that to an atom. It doesn't have a molecular structure. Don't believe, excuse me, don't believe me, look it up. It doesn't even have a molecular structure. People are not aware of these things. Somebody has to bring this stuff to your attention. I'm not here to play, CIA PSYOP games with you, right? The earth is flat. It's an ice wall around everything. You're really in the bubble. Some people saying, oh, the sun is fake. That's not even really the sun. Did you know we in a simulation? Like, man, get out of here with all of that fake mumbo jumbo ass shit. Better pay your fucking light bill. Don't pay your light bill and see if this shit ain't a simulation. They gonna cut your shit off. Your internet gonna be off. Your cable gonna be off. Your refrigerator gonna be off. Simulate that shit. I'm not here to play them games with you guys. We keeping it real practical. I'm not here to play all these mumbo jumbo games like a lot of these people are. And I'm not saying that to castigate them, but they're victimizing your time, your intelligence, your spirit, your divinity. And they taking you nowhere with that shit. They don't let you ask questions. Many of them don't have a teacher, right? If not all of them. Oh, I taught myself all of this. But the second I come into your room, I'm going to challenge your ass. And I'm going to ask you a question. You know what it might be too much. I might be overloading y'all with too much information. You might be overthinking, right? But don't overthink about it. You got questions. You need to come to some understanding. That's why you're here, right? I'm just someone that has embraced their unconscious incompetence. And because I embraced it to the degree that I did, because I was aware at least to that much, which opened up the door to being consciously incompetent, meaning what conscious incompetence is when you're aware of yourself enough to know that you have deficits and you're willing to address those deficits and you're seeking for ways to fill them in. You're seeking knowledge so that you can be competent. The city is it's in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. 6, 7, and 8. March 6, 7, and 8. He said, is the spiritual realms only easier to enter during sleep? That's an excellent question, Brother Naylor. No. Say like right now, I want all of y'all to just close your eyes. You're welcome, beloved. One of the moderators put the site in the thread. When you close your eyes, I want you guys to close your eyes right now. And visualize Michael Jordan dunking the basketball. All of that's not happening outside your eyeballs. You in a whole nother universe making that happen. Anytime that you sitting there, listen, daydreaming. When you just daydreaming, that daydream that you having, it's not happening in this dimension. That's happening in the spiritual universe. That's in a whole nother universe. One that predate this one just like you do. Right? That answer your question, Brother Naylor? Shouts out to Brother Naylor. Yeah. See, all this stuff is real simple. It's not as deep and heavy as people attempt to make things be. It really don't be that deep. Right? Everything here is temporary. It's temporary, you guys. You got 100 years at best. He said in some sense. Okay, well, I want to make sure that you got it. I don't want to leave you out on the limb now. It's just that when you go to sleep, you're not tethered. Your consciousness is not activated in the awakened realm. You're not awake in the physical universe. So all of you could leave here, but you contractually obligated yourself to be here, right? So all of the realms or the spectrums within the spiritual universe, what you call spiritual realms, it's just one full realm, just like it's like the physical realms. There is no physical realms. It's just one realm, and you either in this one or you in that one. Right? And we have the ability to be in both, even while you're in your awakened state. It's just that your awakened consciousness doesn't have full access because you got a governor on your consciousness called your ego or your physical mind, right? But once you lay the body down, the physical mind, the governor of the physical mind can't go there with you. Right? It can't go there. Now you fully unleashed. And you are detached from your central nervous system. So once you get detached from your central nervous system, you start seeing with your whole body, with your whole spiritual body, which develops in an etheric double so that you can have a body. No, ego, again, we're going to go up to the board once we get up to 100,000 likes. Brother says something about the ego. Can't even see it, right? Okay, the ego is the electromagnetic generated organism. Spelled that wrong. Ego. I put this into an acronym for you guys. This is a seminar presentation. Says the spirit. No, we answered that one already, but yeah. Said is it easier to enter during the sleep? It's the easiest. To see, let's do it like this. Physical universe. I'm refining it for you guys. Spiritual universe. Right? Spirit in the physical universe, you got a physical mind that's connected to the ego. Then you got a physical body. Then you got physical senses. They tie into your central nervous system, right? And this wiring is connected to your vertebrae, right? Your nerves and your veins and your, let's put it like this, nerves, veins, and artery, right? Your nerves, veins, and arteries are connected to the central nervous system, and that's wired to the vertebrae. Y'all see that? Your physical senses, which are what? See, hear, taste, touch, and smell. All of this could be done in the physical universe. When you go over to the spiritual universe, dang, I can't find my pointer, man. I don't know what happened to my pointer. I'm gonna have to use my piece of blind. It fell off. Gotta improvise. right? So you in the physical universe, and your electromagnetic generated organism acquired a physical body. You got that from mom and dad. You see that? Mom and dad gave you a physical body. Now, your spiritual mind, it couldn't come into the physical universe. So it needed a body first. And once the body was acquired, the physical mind began to be generated, right? Got that word generated. Let's go back over on this side. Because you got aspects to yourself. Let's just call that the soul. Let's call that the ether self. And then you got the spirit, right? The ether is the residue or the byproduct of the soul. And the byproduct of the ether is the spirit. And the byproduct of the spirit is the electromagnetic self, right? So you take on a electromagnetic resonance in order to cross through the wiring of the vertebrae, through the nerves, veins, and arteries of the central nervous system, and you come through your daddy and end up in your mama. And then you start gestating, right? You start gestating. And while the body is being generated for you, you need a physical body to exist in the physical universe. Because in the spiritual universe, you didn't have no body, right? Didn't have a body. Can y'all see that? Let me pull it back a little bit. You didn't have you didn't have a physical body. So in the spiritual universe, you was looking into what was going on this side, and you said, man, I want to do some of that. But you needed physical senses in order to experience it. Let's break that word down. Externally. External, peer, senses. Right? Then you got the sixth sense. Thinking. Again, you got to remember the eye of Heru or the eye of Ré, or remember them both. Remember, you guys, I always draw this every time I come on here. They left this there for a reason. This is the reason why this was drawn like this. If you split the brain down the center, you see this is the hippocampus area of the brain, which is dealing with your memory, right? This is linked to seeing. Hold up, let's do the thinking first. This is the brow. Remember the brow chakra? For those that's been keeping up. That's the sixth sense. And you got see. Then smell is right here. Touch is right here. And then you got taste. And then this represents your hearing right here. That's the ear. Those are your six senses. And you are peering through the focal point of the eye, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling, and thinking about everything that you're experiencing in the physical body with your physical senses. And the central nervous system is allowing you to experience this like you actually are here. And we call that, as radiologists, a physical dream. This is a physical dream that you are having right now. You refer to it as reality, but it's an illusion. Let's tap that screen, y'all. Tap the screen. I'm giving y'all some prime information here. I hope this is, I don't hope, but let me know if this is making sense for you. If you can pick up what I'm putting down, I need to see. Thank you, Shamari. Yeah, leave a 9 in the comment and start tapping the screen. Shoot some gifts across the thing or something. Because TikTok don't like me on here giving y'all this. They don't. They do not want y'all to know none of this. They would rather you be dormant and go see Pastor Porkchop on Sunday and let him condemn you, right? Because that's what they do. Condemn you, manipulate your emotions, and pass that saucer around 4 or 5 times. That's what's going on. That's what they was happy. They was content with you being that way. Bowing to Jesus, who has not been proven to exist. Right? They like having you on that hamster wheel. They don't want you hearing this. Right? So when you go to sleep at night, when you sleep, it's the body that's going to sleep. You don't go to sleep. The body is going to sleep. I'll say that again. You don't go to sleep. You are eternal, right? You are an eternal being. Pretending to be a human. Like Wayne Dwyer says, you're not on a spiritual journey. You're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. It's just that your ego organism developed sentience. Your physical mind developed sentience because the spiritual aspect of you has a spiritual mind. And it's crossed the threshold of your thinking, and it operates with telepathy, intuition, clairvoyance, and psychometry. See that? These are your these are your spiritual senses. Like you got physical mind, you got a spiritual. Let me see. Let's just call that spirit body. Right? You got a spiritual body. Your spiritual body is operating with your spiritual. Let me move that so don't nobody get confused. Spiritual senses. Right? Your spiritual senses. That's when you astral traveling, astral projecting. You can send your thoughts to the edge of the universe. When you in the spiritual universe, You can send your spiritual thoughts across the physical universe in a nanosecond because it's vibrating a lot slower than you are. Many of you stay stuck in your bed when you go to sleep, right? Some people stay in their bed. Some people go into the subconscious mind. Or let's say the subconscious memory. We ain't gonna say the subconscious mind. You go into the subconscious memory. That's how you seeing people in your dreams based on what you experienced while you was awake in the spirit, in the physical universe, on your planet, right? The locality where you at in the physical universe is called Earth. You on Earth, they got a sun, the Earth and the sun, and the elements. That's what you hear experiencing from the spiritual universe through the focal point of the eye. Is this making sense to you? Are you grasping this? Right? So when I lay me down to sleep and I pray the Lord my soul to keep, right? You want somebody else to keep your soul? Shouldn't you want to keep your soul? Why even have it if you ain't going to use it? That's a spell that you're casting on yourself when you're saying that. But many people go into their subconscious memory. And the subconscious mind is the vault, right? The subconscious mind, it doesn't have a definitive form. It's lucid. It stores all knowledge and experiences. In its vault. You see that? Your subconscious mind stores all the knowledge and experiences in its vault. And the subconscious mind picks up everything because it's functioning. That's a spiritual sense. That's connected to the intuition, your clairvoyance, and your psychometry, right? Because it's based on it. It collects. It has a memory of everything that you did in the spiritual universe and everything that you're doing in the physical universe. Your physical mind is only capable of pulling up the memories that you had here. And just to show you how weak your physical mind is, you have to start taking pictures. You have to start finding a way to suspend the physical time so that you can remember. How many of you done seen a picture of yourself when you was young and you was like, damn, I don't remember taking this picture. You don't even remember where you was at. But your mama did. Like, yeah, we was over here. You was like, I don't even remember that shit. You hear me? That's because your physical mind is limited. You in a limited space right now, right? Limited. The physical universe is limited. The spiritual realm is eternal, right? And you gave up being in an eternal space as an eternal being to be a physical being that's limited. You got restrictions on what you're capable of doing here. You got certain laws, like the brother asked earlier about the universal laws. You had to be given laws. You had to be given restrictions so that you can have order. And the reason why order is needed because chaos thrives here. Chaos has to thrive in order for order to be put in place, right? Because now things are taking form. When you're in the spiritual universe, it don't have no form. What your etheric self does on behalf of you, your etheric self generates a spiritual version of your physical body, right? So they call this the etheric double. It Xerox copies you. Because I told y'all, let me put a asterisk right by there and put an asterisk right there so y'all can make the correlation. So 1/3 of you is your dad and 1/3 of you is your mom. And then there's 1/3 of you that incarnated here that's not your mother or your father. That's you, the eternal being, peering through the senses. You got to take on mom and dad's traits and characteristics in order to thrive here. You contractually obligate yourself to that. And actually, you spend more time in the spiritual universe while you're contractually obligated to be in the physical universe. Because over here, 5 minutes to an hour, right? You call that an hour. 5 minutes of time is equivalent to 5 hours of time here. So our time, that's 300 hours, right? 1 hour, let's just say 1 hour. 1 hour in the spiritual universe is equivalent to 1 minute over here. Just to put it in context for you guys. So for every minute here is an hour there. And you'll probably wonder, how come that's so? It's because you don't have flesh, you don't got bones, you don't got vertebrae, you don't got nerves, veins, and arteries, you don't got a central nervous system. You don't have blood. You feel me? You don't got muscles. You don't have the elements to have to deal with. So you're going to vibrate a lot faster. And when you go to sleep in your bed, you go through the gateways of your subconscious memory. Some people won't even make it that far because they're not even aware of this aspect of themselves. They don't have that degree of self-awareness. And they'll say something in the range of, what do you say, that's BS. I don't know what you mean by that. You might want to ask the question. I don't know what you mean. Are you telling me that what I'm saying is BS? Do I need to let you up on the platform so you could correct me? I don't mind being corrected if I'm wrong. He said he a bot. Let me see. Yeah, he is a bot. Okay, why am I wrong? Tell me why I'm wrong first, and then I'll let you up. Why am I wrong? Tell me why it's BS first, and then I'll let you up here and let you expound. I'll give you 20 seconds to respond to what I just said, or you're going to get muted. Yeah, don't come in here playing. Don't come in here playing. I'm telling you, man. Burning baby mama. It took too long. You ain't even got enough. You don't even got enough confidence to show your face. That in itself speaks multitudes to me. You don't even got enough confidence to show yourself in a little profile, but you're going to make statements like you are. Now you're muted for the whole live, just for interrupting the flow of what we was talking about. You must don't get no attention at home. Your mama and daddy didn't pay you no attention. And that's fine, but you ain't going to come here and disrupt this. This goofy ass waited till I got all this shit up on the board then say, oh, that's BS. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So when you go to sleep, let's just say you take an hour nap. That 1 hour nap is going to be equivalent to 300 hours, which is the equivalent of 12 days and 6 hours. And I want to say, I don't even want to go into the minutes of it. Right? So you got about 12 days and 6 hours and 1 hour nap. You're like, man, I'm going to go lay down. Wake me up in an hour. You, the spirit, left the body and came back to the spiritual universe. You, the physical body, was just appearing to lay there for an hour. For everybody else that was seeing you lay there on the bed or the couch, right? Or on a hammock. So they was looking at you like, they was looking at the time, like you said, wake them up in an hour. That whole time elapsed in the spiritual universe to your spirit body. It felt like 12 days and 6 hours. That 1 hour. And when you woke up from the nap, right? When you woke up from that nap, you felt a little bit more refreshed, right? You felt clear. You was like, man, I felt like I slept longer than that. Every time you take a nap, you think that you slept longer than you did because so much time was elapsing. Because time works different, right? Time works different in another dimension or in the spiritual universe than it's doing in the physical universe. And I told you, this is the bridge that's going to take you into the spiritual universe. Is on the other side of thinking. That's how you get in alignment with your higher senses, right? In your physical dimension, you got these senses, and then it starts to go over here. Your ego be like, no, don't go over there. It start getting you to doubt. It start making you uncertain. You might think that's you making yourself uncertain, but that's not you. That's your own physical mind making you do that because it can't go over there. It can't go over there with you, and it know it can't. You ever sat down and attempted to meditate, and you try to get into your meditation, and you be like, shit, something itch. You be moving, like, oh, am I doing this right? You always, when you first started, that's not you. That's your mind, because it knows that you're attempting to tame it. You're attempting to rein it in. You be like, I hear something. You do everything except get silent and still. I told you guys, when you get silent and still, you start vibrating on a theta wave. When you get still, the mind gets nervous because you become present, and you become present in the physical body. Then you start to realize that's the first thing that you come to the awareness of. Like, I'm in the body. I'm not the body. I'm in here. Everybody right now, I want you to take your left index finger and touch yourself on your left pectoral. Touch yourself there. Tell me you don't feel that finger. Don't you feel that finger? If you can feel that finger, that means that you are in the body. Y'all got all of this? I'm going to erase this off the board, and y'all know how I do. Y'all take a picture of it. I'm going to take a picture for everybody too. Man. What I do with my phone? Forgot what I did with it. I'm going to give y'all a second to take a picture of that. Find my phone, my other phone. There he is. All right. Y'all got all of that? Leave a 9 in the comments section if y'all got that. Give y'all a minute to screenshot it. Some people are be screen recording. All right, Nettie got it. Winter season. Thank you guys. Y'all tap that screen. Let's get up to 200,000 likes. We trying to do 250,000 likes. And if I had as many people touching that screen like Ricky, we'd get up to 1 million. So more people can see the live. See, how do you screen record? On your phone, right there where it says, let me get out the way. Where you see the Wi-Fi signal or your 5G signal, just pull it down. And then it got a bunch of options. One of them says screen record. That's one of the options. All right, I'm going to erase it. And it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm going to end up putting it in, I'll post this to school and I'll post it in the 1089 text space. And then I'll post it in my story for people to get it. But it ain't about to happen right this second for your convenience. All right, y'all got all of that? I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes, man, because I could already feel somebody going to come in here and be like, hey, man, go over all of that stuff again. Hey, can you go back over it again? And it's like, yo, man, you're not in alignment. Everybody that caught all of this, you in alignment, your higher self, the eternal being, the eternal you, wanted you to get this. And see, I go over all these things again and again and again, because by the time we have seminar, by the time we do the 1089 seminar in March, I could run through a bunch of slides for you guys. And then when we go back to TikTok after that, you'll be like, oh shit, I get that. You'll get everything I done said up to this point, and you'll be ready for the next thing, right? Because it's a lot of gaps that's getting filled in for everyone that was at the last seminar. They seeing another layer than people that's seeing this for the first time. He said, I got you right now. Oh yeah. So y'all good? I'm about to take this down. I'm about to erase the board. So y'all come join us in Atlanta. We're going to do The first day will be Raynology 101. The second day gonna be a little bit more advanced. Those are two different events. It's gonna be a little bit more advanced. And I'm gonna start doing that. I might add a third day on there. I might add that Friday on there. And do for the cadets, for those people that need to drink that milk.